Hey coaches, today we're taking a look at powerful questions. ICF core competency on evoking awareness looks at how a coach facilitates client learning, development, clear understanding and awareness of themselves through a variety of tools, but primarily a coach helps evoke and build that awareness through the use of powerful questions. And oftentimes, early on in a training program, it can be a bit overwhelming to think about being in this dynamic conversation without a script, really. There are lists of questions that we can refer to, but we don't want to sound like we're just asking questions from a list. We want them to be dynamic. We want to truly evoke awareness live, in person, in a session, in an authentic, natural way. Powerful questions do that when we focus on the client well, and when we use powerful questions as an art rather than a performance. Let's take a look at a couple parts of powerful questions. What makes them come alive? First, powerful questions, they explore and expand. At the end of a coaching session, the client and the coach work on narrowing the scope of things, and that's how we begin looking at action and planning. But for the most part, truly powerful questions in a coaching session explore, they expand. And how do they do that? We explore the identity. Yes, of course, I put that first, even though it's the more abstract response. There's the more abstract idea. But when you're in a coaching session, you do have an agenda to cover. But that agenda is really from the person and their challenges in overcoming that challenge, opportunity, being prepared for the meeting, getting ready for the conversation, making the decision. All of that has to do with who they are. At their core, their identity is a big part of figuring things out. Better understanding of the self leads to better understanding of the problems that we face. So powerful questions help evoke awareness around the identity, explore the identity of the client. We expand self-awareness in that way. We explore the situation. Yes, we have a problem to solve, a meeting to prepare for, and so on. And so we do explore that situation, but in the context of the self, the identity, what could be learned, the connecting of dots between the situation, the way the client talks about the situation, and how they feel about it, how they think, what their fears and hopes are, and so on. And we also explore towards an outcome. If we have a very well-set agenda, then as we work through the powerful questions within the session, we're always checking in, and we talk about that as part of the markers of success and facilitating client growth. We check in to make sure we're on the right track, that we're not just frolicking through the meadows of exploration, but we are moving towards some specific direction that is in line with the client's goals. Exploring, expanding. And the other part of powerful questions is how we approach these questions in a coaching session. The approach is to connect with clarity. These questions are open. They start with what, why, how, maybe who, where, when. We are efficient with our language, using only the words that we need to use. We focus on the client's language. We'll often use the client's metaphors, their figurative language, their deep, meaningful language, language around the patterns that might be coming up in a session, the key words, the expression, their body language and their tone. And also, we hear their intent, their hopes for the session, what they mean. And also, our powerful questions, part of that approach of connecting with the clients through the questions is to make sure we're not directing them. We want to guide them, yes, but not in a way that takes over their exploration. A coaching session should really be the client's session. The coach's ideas should very, very rarely be shared. And instead, the coach is helping unearth that self-awareness for the client so that the client can connect that deeper learning and awareness over to the actions they want to take. So that whatever actions they come up with, whatever way they want to best prepare for that meeting, it's authentic to them. It doesn't sound like Brian is showing up to the meeting and talking. Instead, it sounds like the client is showing up and being the best performing client they can be as they come to that meeting. The decision they make is not Brian's decision for them, but it is their decision that takes into account their values, their perspectives, their hopes, their goals, their fears, their legacy, their purpose, and all of that combined because we've explored it and expanded through powerful questions throughout the session, focusing on the language of the client and not being directive and pointing them to our solutions. Powerful questions. They truly do evoke, call forth learning and awareness. And through that learning, we get to the right kind of action and solutions that not only help the client resolve things, but to grow as people. And at the end of the day, that is what we are after. Thank you for being after that same kind of thing, helping people grow through coaching. And thank you for coaching.